All right. Greetings. Welcome back to Black Bear News, where everything is connected. And we only have an hour, so it's best to get here early. And some of you are already here. Denver, Bulla, Bella, William. Howdy, William. Hope you're doing okay. We are live on X, on YouTube, and on Telegram. If you want to watch the show in Telegram, you can go into the Telegram chat, which is a dedicated chat for Black Bear News chatters. If you can't get enough of Black Bear News chatting, you can go to the Telegram channel and do that 24 hours a day. I try to get in there during the day, but it's hit or miss. But I'm usually in there several times a day. That's an interesting article, Denver. I mean, they were trying to blame all kinds of things for stuff that would look like vaccine injuries, right? And they've been doing it for a while. But I feel like one of the best ones was long COVID. Not to say that long COVID is totally fake. I wouldn't say that. But I feel like they try to attribute a lot of the things you might see from vaccine injury to long COVID, because they looked a lot alike. And Jimmy Dore went through the same thing, I think, where, I don't know. Are you guys seeing some of the comments on screen? Just checking. Anybody seeing some of the comments on screen? I'm not sure. I don't see them, so I can't tell. I'm trying out this new beta feature of StreamYard. Yeah. No, not seeing anything. Well, that's weird. I wonder. Oh, here we go. I see them now. They're tiny. They're tiny. They're in the corner. I see them. You couldn't see it before. All right. Well, they're so small. On the right-hand corner, right lower corner, Denver. Death Star Mike, home of the Death Star Mike, Black Bear News. Well, I guess that's kind of cool. If you can actually see them. On my screen, they look so tiny. But that's fun. All right. Well, we'll go with that. Let's get into it because an hour goes by awfully quick these days. We were talking about wearables the other day. And the wearables were listening to us talking about them. That's the funny thing. They were like, I hear you. Somebody's calling my name. It kind of sounds like strap-ons. It's wearables. It sounds like edibles, except different. You holding any wearables? Wearables sounds like weebles, which wobble but don't fall down. That was a fun little tune, wasn't it? Nope, that's the wrong button. Well, after cutting healthcare for $16 million, Republicans say the solution is for Americans to buy $500 health tracking Aura rings. Is this what we can look forward to as healthcare from the government? Biologically powered wearables. Anyways, they're suggesting that we all get Aura rings. When Representative Mike Thompson asked how struggling families could afford that, the GOP witness said he got his cheap for $300.
Of the different technologies, ranging from $500, $800, the ring that you're wearing, $520, $525.
Mine's only 300, so.
Yours is only 300?
Yeah,
All right.
I got
Well,
the cheap one.
but that's good. But even the people who are losing their health care because the big ugly bill can't even afford the $300 cheap one. I'd like to submit this to the record, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, without objection, so ordered. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to submit to the record, if you would.
So I guess that's what I'm getting some heavy suppression today. It looks like probably because of my thumbnail on YouTube. I'm assuming that's why. I don't really have a thumbnail anywhere else. There's not really a thumbnail for X, but They're going to insist that I have no viewers showing. YouTube's going to insist that I have no viewers showing, hardly any viewers showing. Because I put old knitting on the thumbnail. I guess that was a mistake. I don't care. But and whatever number you're seeing is ridiculous number. It started out with like 10 and it's going down. I'm like, there's more people than that in the chats right now. So YouTube is just absolutely ridiculous. Fraudsters, but you know, it's another story. This is a crazy story, though. And I don't know if it's real or not. Yeah, says make sure that I have 0 viewers. I don't really understand. Whatever. I don't really get it. Tough crowd on X, I guess. And again, you gotta really take all of these stories with a heavy dose of skepticism, because we just don't know what's really going on. But it's an interesting story nonetheless. Israel was planning to carry out a false flag operation in the U.S., right? And everybody was warning about that, saying that, discussing that. And they were going to carry it out on the pretext of Iranian sleeper cells to drag the U.S. into an all-out war with Iran. But Iranian intelligence foiled the plot and informed the U.S. before it could happen. Iranian intelligence. This is a real story, apparently. Because if you saw it on Twitter, you might go, somebody's embellishing there. But no, my friends. Information obtained by the Tehran Times shows that Israel is plotting to carry out an explosion on U.S. soil. The plan involved orchestrating a destructive event within the U.S., fabricating evidence to implicate Iran, thereby manipulating American public opinion and prompting military action. Iran uncovered the Israeli plot through information shared by a friendly nation. Upon learning of the potential attack, Iranians sent messages to U.S. officials and prevented the planned explosion from happening. Say what? So weird. That's a very strange story. But if you were someone in the Trump administration, or if you were just the Trump administration in general, wouldn't you? I mean, wouldn't you be absolutely livid by stuff like? I mean, I don't know. Depends on the. Maybe the George Bush administration didn't seem to be too livid about 9/11. They seem to be the ones orchestrating the whole thing. So, and yeah, that's real. I mean, let's just be real. All the evidence points to the fact that people within the U.S., whether Israel did it or not, the people in the government up to the president knew it was coming, facilitated it happening, absolutely covered it up, and they should be all tried for treason and hung in the public square. Like that level of treason should be absolutely like anyways. But if you actually cared about the people of the US, if you were a sitting president or people within the administration, you actually gave a shit. And that's assuming a lot, that these people actually give a shit about you and your safety. And they don't, but this is an interesting story. So it's it's just weird to think about the implications of all the levels of duplicity that might be involved in this story, or in the fact that maybe something like that could happen on U.S. soil. I don't know. But I wonder how much time, I put this picture on the cover on the thumbnail because I wonder how much time this person has left in office, because at some point the overstepping of the boundaries is going to be so egregious that he's going to risk the people overrunning his government like they're doing in Nairobi. Or someone they thought was a longtime ally just going, you know what, I've had it with you. You're out of here. And I don't think it's, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm totally wrong. And good news, or better news, some aid finally made it to Palestinians. Around 10 aid trucks arrived safely at UN warehouses in Gaza City through the efforts and coordination of local communities in North Gaza, preventing the killings and chaos of Israeli occupation organized aid distribution. There is absolutely no need for Israel to be involved in any kind of aid distribution through the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation or any other way. Finally, and it's been a long time coming. More scenes of aid arriving. In the area. Nearly all of the Gaza Strip has been rendered inaccessible to Palestinian civilians. A new UNOCHA map shows that over 82% of Gaza is now under Israeli military control, displacement orders, or both. The few areas shown in gray are the only zones where Palestinians are still permitted to remain. Areas in gray here, and a few parts here. So I'm going to say in less than 10% of what used to be the Gaza Strip, civilians there are also bombed and killed regularly. If you're watching the show, please like it up wherever you're watching it, or repost it. Give us the thumbs up or the middle finger, whichever you like. Whichever suits, whatever floats your boat, bro. Let's see. I rather like this photo. Where the fascism come from, what it's doing. God promised me this land. Settlers to the Native Americans. God promised me this land. Settlers to black slaves. God promised me this land. Looks like Netanyahu to Palestinians. That's how it goes down. You just got to get God on your side, and then you can do anything you want to. That's all. God told me it was okay. So weird how something that's supposed to be a vessel for peace is perverted to. Oh, God wants you to be a realtor. God wants you to have millions of dollars in your bank account. God wants you to have everything you ever wish for. Just ask God and he'll give it to you. Plenty of those hucksters around. It's like a side hustle. Yeah, it's funny. I was talking to my friend the other day about that, how everybody is like /realtor, /realtor. Artist, motivational speaker, realtor. I really like the caption on this. This is one for the Palestinian Holocaust Museum. Do you think we're going to see the Palestinian Holocaust Museum anytime soon? This is the vehicle, how many times the vehicle was shot up by the IDF and taking out, those very scary enemy combatants. I mean, women and children. Jesus. Can we get a Palestinian Holocaust Museum? Y'all don't want no bad news today? Come on. Get in here and get this doom. What was I? Let's see. Meanwhile, from Haaretz, unable to justify their army killing children in Gaza, Israelis retreat into deep denial. It's a pretty good headline. I'm not going to pay for the story, though, so let's see if we can find it elsewhere. We just need like a little more of it because it's really about the headline for me. Yes, I'm over 18. I can have mature content, please. Thanks. What? Is that all this is? Whack. I guess I'm just not going to find it. Well, this is an interesting article from the BBC while I was looking. Israel is accused of the greatest war crimes. Ding, 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 ding. True. How governments respond could haunt them for years. What are they trying to say? You have a Palestinian museum in Bristol? All right, right on. Well, how governments respond could haunt them for years. You mean if they oppose it or protect it? Because don't see a lot of opposing. Did you see that Mario Cuomo is a lawyer for Israel in the case against them at the ICC? Mario Cuomo. Lawyering up Israel. The depravity. I can't say that on air, Bulla. Yeah, well, the question is anybody going to respond ever to Israel committing war? Is there going to be any response? The only country that seems to, be doing anything is Iran, and it took Israel, throwing some bombs at them for them to go like, all right, we're in it. And how sweet it was to so many people around the world to finally see Israel get some kind of something in return for some kind of just desserts for the depravity of their government and their people. Sorry. I mean, anybody who's not opposing this, there are plenty of Israelis who are, totally on board. There are those that are not on board for sure. The West is scared of the Epstein list. I think you got to just kind of, and other incriminating documents. Yeah, sure. Salt Liquor says, all I know is I haven't complained about all the lines in the sky for probably a month. Have you seen any? Question for the crowd. Have you seen any lately? I haven't noticed too many myself, but we've been, where I'm at, there's been kind of a marine layer thing going on, but I haven't really noticed too many of the extracurricular cumulus in the sky. All I see is kind of like this marine layer, like hazy cloud cover. So kind of, at least where I'm at in my area, it's doing the job of what would be, a task for the chemtrail crew. Well, let's go to the part of the show where we talk about if you can't see it, I guess it ain't happening. That part of the show. Trump is trying to. Well, first of all, we'll go here. I got thrown off here. Hold on. Got thrown all the way off. What is this? I got thrown all the way off. The Department of Defense has stopped transmitting real-time microwave data from 3 weather satellites critical to hurricane forecasting. The DoD. So I guess they don't believe in climate change either. Dang it. Sorry, guys. I'm having a hard time with my see if we get it back. Oh, here we go. It's back. Yeah, last couple of days my internet has been real weird. Okay. Climate change is what? I can't see the rest of your comment there, extra. I guess it's just extra. Yeah. Pentagon halts critical hurricane data feed, raising alarm ahead of peak storm season. If you can't get any news about the weather, then I guess there's there's nothing to worry about. So there's that. Stop transmitting real-time microwave data from 3 weather satellites. The decision, communicated through a formal NOAA service notice on Tuesday, marks a major loss for meteorologists, particularly those tracking hurricanes forming over open oceans. Areas where direct observation is sparse or non-existent. The microwave imagery provided by SSMIS has been used for years to monitor such storm structure, gauge intensity, and identify rapid changes in tropical cyclones. And I guess without the actual tracking of hurricanes and storms, I guess, that leaves a lot of space open for people to just make shit up about hurricanes and storms. So there's that. While no official explanation has been provided for the termination, the decision is believed to be linked to internal security concerns within the Department of Defense. Okay. Details remain unclear. And the move appears to have been made without significant coordination with NOAA or other civilian forecasting agencies. The lack of transparency and the absence of readily available replacement have sparked widespread concerns among meteorologists, emergency planners, and researchers who depend on this data for real-time weather decisions and long-term climate modeling. All right. Meanwhile, in France, Here's some weather monitoring. Sorry, guys. Sorry for all the people who don't want to talk about the weather. That's all right, Salt Lakers, exactly. Paris, France this evening. There's a bunch of videos coming out of Paris. They're getting whacked by the weather machine. I'm joking. It's not a weather machine. It's called too much moisture in the air. Because when it's warmer, there's more moisture in the air, because doesn't that make sense? There's more heat, there's more evaporation. More evaporation means more moisture in the air. More moisture in the air means more stronger and longer lasting and more virulent, if you will, rain events. China got absolutely cooked the last couple of weeks. Absolutely cooked. And they had there was a bridge collapse, massive bridge collapse.
没信号，都没信号，我们也没有信号。
Good Lord.
你命大啊，兄弟啊，这个
That
危险啊，
sucks.
只能要
He's
等
like, what the?
等消
What
防
do
来
I?
了，
How do I? Oh my God.
没信号都没信号啊。啊，唔係有冇噶，唔係。那有个
That was
小
a
车，
result
那
of
边有2个小车啊。不要往那边走了，往那边走，那边就直接开了，快点！
shit. Result of the massive rains that are happening in China.
没信号，
Sorry.
都没信号，我们也没有信号。你命大啊，兄弟，直接开了，快点！
Hold on.
不要往那边走了，往那边走，那边就直接开了，快点！
Okay. Just wanted to hear that. Meanwhile, New York hitting 40C. They're getting it on the East Coast. Turned on the fire hydrants in New York City. New York City hit 100 Fahrenheit on Tuesday as a powerful heat dome scorched the eastern U.S. with nearly 40 cities breaking high temperature records. Humid conditions made the heat even more dangerous, especially with little relief at night. Amtrak faced delays due to heat-related track issues. 2 teen hikers were rescued in New Hampshire after collapsing from heat exhaustion. Experts warn the early timing of this extreme heat makes it especially risky for cities like New York, Boston, and Philadelphia. All right, and we're going to swing back into more NOAA news is good news. Democrats rage as Trump limits classified intel sharing with Congress. So the 105, golly, Deline. Sounds miserable. Yeah, it seems to be the standard operating procedure now for the Trump administration is to limit the access to what is actually happening. But this is concerning. Maybe the people in Congress won't oppose the war if they don't know what's actually happening. And this is all done under the guise of, probably security concerns, I'm sure. Top congressional Democrats are furious over President Trump's decision to limit intelligence sharing with Capitol Hill after the alleged leaks of preliminary assessments about the U.S. strike on Iranian nuclear sites. Democrats see the Trump decision as a significant escalation in what they say is the White House's attempt to stonewall Congress about the Iran conflict. This isn't about national security, it's about Trump's insecurity. President Trump is cutting off intelligence to Congress, raising one clear question: what is he hiding? Senate Minority Leader Chucky Schumer told Axios in a statement. It must be bad news, Senate Minority Whip Dick Durbin told Axios of the intel surrounding the Iran strike. They were embarrassed by the leak because it suggested that they did not obliterate the Iran nuclear program as promised. Or maybe they weren't really trying. Did you think of that, huh? I bet you didn't. Freaking Democrats. Senator Mark Warner, the top Democrat on the Senate Intelligence Committee, told Axios he wanted more information about the situation before issuing a full statement, but offered it would be extraordinarily disturbing. House Intel Committee ranking member Jim Himes said the leak of classified information is unacceptable and should be fully investigated, but that's also unacceptable for the administration to use unsubstantiated speculation to justify cutting off Congress. The law requires the Congressional Intelligence Committee to be kept fully and currently informed, and I expect the intelligence community to comply with the law. Well, law schma. Nobody expects to be hit in the face by the jealous husband, do they? Anyways, the White House said on Wednesday, we are declaring war on leakers. I don't know why that's funny, but it sounds funny. Go figure it. Almost as soon as we put the information on the system used to share intel with Congress, it leaks. Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard also backed out of the briefing with Senate Intelligence Committee last week, which ruffled Democratic feathers. I mean, it sounds like a mess, as usual. Typical. Guys, if you like the show, coming to you for free 99 Monday through Friday, and y'all enjoy hanging out here and watching the show and all the info and the ridiculousness that might happen during the show. If you enjoy that, please consider supporting the show. You can do so in the description box. There's plenty of links there. Also, there's a link tree on X, a link tree on Telegram. All the usual suspects are there: Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, Zelle, Buy Me a Coffee, Ko-Fi, Patreon, Substack. Free 99. Because today freedom is free. Let's see. Salt Lakers says, I would just like to say that here in the mountains of Utah, it is currently 75 degrees with the wind traveling out of the south at 5 miles per hour. Thanks for that update. Appreciate you. What else is happening? Mom Donnie, who apparently had a support from Chuck Schumer, or at least a nice review from Chuck Schumer, to which I believe it was Comrade Misty said, like, oh, this guy had Chuck Schumer's endorsement. No, thank you. Excuse me. Cyrus says temperature rise may be 3C in 2026 and 5C in 2027. Say what? Are you talking about global temperature? That would be extreme. Okay. What we're looking at here is difference in turnout in New York between Kamala, Trump, and Mamdani. Mamdani inspired record turnout in the same city where Kamala lost Dems over 500,000 just 7 months ago. They claim that our country is moving further to the right is a lie. People just want better candidates. That's true. Kamala is not going to inspire people to come out. Hillary is not going to inspire people to come out. And apparently, Mamdani went out and interviewed the people of New York and why they voted for Trump and or didn't vote for Kamala. To try and figure out, like, you know, what was going on. As it stands, the downturn in votes for the Democratic Party was 6 times the size of Mr. Trump's gains when compared with 2020. In some boroughs, the ratio was even larger. So here's how many votes Democrats lost. And how many Trump gained in New York City. Public polling in recent weeks showed Mamdani's support skyrocketing as Cuomo's remained stagnant. Early voting saw record turnout fueled by young voters. Nearly a quarter of early voters had not voted in the Democratic primary at any point between 2012 and 2024. So if you inspire people, if you have some kind of message, which is what I said Blue Ocean event in 2025 from the Arctic News site. Well, we'll keep a watch. Keep an eye on it. What I said during the campaign in last year was that the Democrats weren't, the messaging was we don't give a shit. We're not offering anything, nothing whatsoever. You know, gone was anything resembling Medicare for all, or taxing the wealthy, or stopping wars, or giving people more health. You know, like none of that. There was no, the only message they had was we're not Trump. That was all they had. And on top of that, it was like one guy can't think and the other person can't talk. And we don't know what we're doing. So like they didn't offer anything. And all Trump had to do was go out and sound populist a little bit here and there. All you got to do is go out and say, you know, go, well, we'll try and give you something like this. And people are like, really? You will? Oh, thanks. Like, it doesn't take much to get people to go, oh, okay, that sounds good. It really doesn't take much to get people to believe that actually voting will change anything for them. But maybe we just got to vote harder next time. One more on the wearables. And I'm not talking strap-ons. One more on the wearables. Well, imagine if people got out. I mean, you know, I suppose, I don't know what voting harder means necessarily. But if you really supported like left-leaning candidates, you know, social, you know, actually real populists, right? And held them accountable, you know, voted them into office, and then said, you know, when they don't do what you want, you get out there and you tell them you're unhappy instead of not paying attention and just going, that's okay, they're going to fix it. And then when they don't do what you want, you have to vote them out and vote in somebody else. You know, sounds a little raggedy, but it might just work. Here's James Corbett talking about the possibility of the wrong government, requiring its population to don the wearables.
We have to understand what it is they are actually proposing. And when you start to pick that apart and you start to get at the underlying message of what they're pushing here, you start to get at concepts like the fourth industrial revolution and how technology is going to be used to get us to a new economic system. And once you start to understand the implications of that, for example, the implication that everyone will be closely surveilled at all times, electronically and at a distance, and all of their transactions will be monitored and run through a central bank digital currency, which will be monitoring everything that you are doing at all times. Of course, all of this data is necessary for keeping us safe from disease, say, which is, of course, the way it will be sold to us. And one example of that is a particularly interesting and telling article that was published in the Financial Times this past March that I thought encapsulated this idea quite well. It's by Yuval Noah Harari, and it's called The World After Coronavirus. And he lays it out on the table there, what this type of fourth industrial revolution technology means and what it entails, including under the skin surveillance. So he writes that one of the problems we face in working out where we stand on surveillance is that none of us know exactly how we are being surveilled and what the coming years might bring. Surveillance technology is developing at breakneck speed, and what seemed science fiction 10 years ago is today old news. As a thought experiment, consider a hypothetical government that demands that every citizen wears a biometric bracelet that monitors body temperature and heart rate 24 hours a day. The resulting data is hoarded and analyzed by government algorithm. The algorithms will know that you are sick even before you know it, and they will also know where you've been and who you have met. The chains of infection could be drastically shortened and even cut altogether. Such a system could arguably stop the epidemic in its tracks within days. Sounds wonderful,
Yay.
right? Biometric monitoring would make Cambridge Analytica's data hacking tactics look like something from the Stone Age. Imagine North Korea in 2030, when every citizen has to wear a biometric bracelet 24 hours a day. If you listen to a speech by the great leader and the bracelet picks up the telltale signs of anger, you are done for. This article just starts to broach some of the issues of what we're dealing with here, a complete Orwellian system of total monitoring of not just your speech, not just things that you are saying, but ultimately things that you are literally feeling, your blood pressure, your heart rate, your all these telltale signs of emotion or what you're thinking. And of course,
hold on, guys. Hold on. Don't know if you can still hear me. Sorry.
Come on with the pre-crime police and make sure
like
that you
Minority
don't do
Report, right? I mean, think about that.
Exactly
Just imagine everyone wearing a Fitbit. If your Fitbit was suddenly connected to the government and the police department, how much they know about you, where you're at, what you're emotionally going through. You know, I mean, it's really, that article is really terrifying.
Okay. Well, you know, Corbett pointing it out, like so many others. Pointing out the direction that they're going in. But, you know, Corbett does have some good solutions watch shows. Suggest those. I'm not strong on the poisoning of the planet subject, but you know, you think so, Deline? All right, that's interesting. Sure. I mean, got a donation here from this is you, Warren Extra Bulla, I'm assuming. Thank you for the donation on Zelle. Also Lou, thanks Lou for the donation on PayPal. Appreciate you. I think that's it for now. I don't know. You gotta take the truth where you can get it, and you know, somebody doesn't fit completely your worldview, you don't cut them off or whatever. But I'm just preaching to the choir, I think, at this point. But man, oh man, am I suppressed, which makes me wonder aloud on my show whether I might be more over the target, even more over the target than the super duper ooper truth-telling community that actually is allowed to have viewers and followers and actual eyeballs. Makes me wonder. I don't know. Just guessing. What's up, Chris? And thank you, Peace and Pocket. Is that right? Did I get that? Did I get the name right? Peace and Pocket Love the handle. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks everyone for hanging out. I'll be back to, you know what, tomorrow? You know what, guys, tomorrow I'm going to have to, if I do a show, it's going to have to be kind of tentative tomorrow. I have something to do in the morning. So I will be, I might try and do a show in the afternoon tomorrow, like later in the afternoon. Just keep your eyes open. I'm thinking maybe along the lines of like 4 or 5 in the evening, if I can do it. So I'm saying there may or may not be a show tomorrow, and if there is a show, it's going to be later in the afternoon, as far out Pacific time. So I hope to see you guys tomorrow afternoon, and enjoy the rest of your day. Don't just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody else. Thanks for hanging out again, guys. And we'll see you on the next.